Hi guys, just wanted to do a short video about weapons reach, and I have a little demonstration for you to start out with here. There's a young guy with a flail. So apparently it takes 6 feet to swing this thing, which is a lot of space that you would need versus using a dagger or another shorter weapon like a short sword. Because he's got a, I don't know if it's a small one or if it's got a lot of swing to it. You don't want to be anywhere near that. Um, and so that brings us to the this image here where she's swinging the flail and he's ducking out of the way. So that kind of got me interested in maybe adding in a little bit of flair or flavor to the game. So so what I've done is during combat, depending on your weapon length. So we'll say, look at Sari, and she has a flail. It's got a 6 foot. Um, it needs 6 feet as a weapon length, and that means that when she's in combat, she needs some space to swing this thing. So if she's in a tight space, or there's a lot of her allies around or enemies, that's going to be tougher for her to swing it. So just to show you how this will work. So when we are in the initiative, these auras will show up once she moves into range. You'll see the 6 foot aura show up as she reaches Sven. His weapon, he is using a hammer. So he needs to get um, about this close to touch her token to get, so you can see the range on hers versus his hammer. So he's got to be that close to get her. And then if you've got a bow, obviously you don't have any weapon speed, so you're pretty much just stationary there. The longsword, here comes Gabe. He comes in, and once he reaches a token, that's his aura there for how much space he needs. So how this works is, if you have, let's say you're sorry, and you're swinging an attack at Sven, and you've got two allies or two other tokens in your radius of your swing. So what'll happen is uh, it'll find those. So we'll do a flail attack on Sven, and then so that's it. So you're gonna see that her modifiers are, she has a +3 to hit from her strength, and then she gets a +1 for versus armor, and then but she has a -2 versus space and crowding. So there's 3 tokens that are so you have your target token, but there's 2 additional tokens. So she's gonna get a -2 to her swing, but she hit anyway. But the more and there's a cap of 4. So let's say there are 4 tokens in here, or 5 even, but it's only going to, so when she swings, the more you have in here, the less likely she's going to be able to hit because of all the bodies around. And so if let's say that Gad's using his dagger. I'm going to hit the use button, and he moves up. He's got to be this close to use his dagger. He's got to be a lot closer. So she's got a nice big range. She can hit things pretty far away with that. So anybody that gets in her range, she can hit them. The downside is that if there's other tokens or other things around, or if she's in a space where she can't swing it, there's not enough room, she may have to choose another weapon. And I think she's got a hammer, a melee hammer. So whoops. So she'll use that. And then she's going to have, takes a lot less space to swing that um, than it does that flail. But the flail does really good damage when you hit with it. So that's the payoff. But weapon choice is going to matter. But so when characters are moving, so let's say you're trying to move through a space, and this is the strike range. So if you're trying to sneak by a character, it's going to be easier to sneak by somebody with a shorter weapon because they don't have that range. So normally in 1E, it's just a generic 10 feet, but this is going to be a little bit different. So it depends on the weapon. So if Gabe runs by Sven, he's going to be able to have a little more space because he's not going to activate his aura until he gets about that close versus her. So depending on how far away that how big that weapon is. Also, when you're trying to figure out, like say for a charge, um, you'll know right away which weapon is going to be longer. So, Sorry has a longer weapon. She will so if Gabe was charging her, she would strike first. So that's a good way to tell which one's longer. And so when the initiative goes away, all of these disappear. So that's only during these only pop up during combat, and only if you are around another uh, token. But right now, there's nobody until you get around a token. It'll just go away. So it's just during combat, but it's a cool way to kind of strategize your weapon that you're going to be using in the space that you have. So if you have a 10-foot hallway, you may choose a different weapon, or if you have, depending on the environment. So it's going to make you think. And then, of course, we have the weapon speeds too. So depending on the situation, so you guys have to up your game and figure out what you think will work the best in what situation. It gives you a lot more flavor rather than just coming up to a character and you swing. So the reason why I like this is because obviously you're going to pick the best weapon that does the most damage. But if there's no downside, what's the point of having any other weapon? Whereas this is going to force you to choose. Okay, so in this situation, I'm going to use my dagger, or I'm going to use a different weapon or a faster weapon, or depends on what I'm doing. But um, now I did make a little change to the chat, so you can switch your use here for these weapons just by doing this. Now, the one that's highlighted in green is your what's on your character sheet, but that's your main choice. So instead of going to the character sheet, you can just click on that, and that will change what you're doing. So that'll help speed things up. Instead of going to the character sheet, going down, you're having to select um, the weapon. You got to go all the way down here and then uncheck one box and do that. So this is a little bit quicker. So if your main weapon is the flail, that's what's going to be checked off. And then you can use other weapons also with that. So that will cover the weapons length. And let me know what you think. Thanks.